treated like a saint. Just this week, Fauci was caught in yet another lie. Emails showed he was involved in a smear campaign against a group of scientists who disagreed with lockdowns at the start of the pandemic. And when Senator Rand Paul confronted him on it, Fauci lied.
In an email exchange with Dr. Collins, you conspire, and I quote here directly from the email, to create a quick and devastating published takedown of 3 prominent epidemiologists from Harvard, Oxford, and Stanford. Instead of engaging them on the merits, you and Dr. Collins sought to smear them as fringe and take them down. Do you really think it's appropriate to use your $420,000 salary to attack scientists that disagree with you?
I think in usual fashion, Senator, you are distorting everything about me.
Joining me now to react, Stanford University Professor of Medicine, Dr.Jay Battacharya, and Fox News medical contributor, Dr. Nicole Saphire. Welcome, both of you. I'm going to start with you, Dr. Battacharya, since you are the person that is being smeared in this letter, along with other scientists who signed the Great Barrington Declaration. First of all, I read the letter. It looked like a smear. In fact, it looked like something from a bully. Why is he so threatened by you and other people who have a dissenting point of view on lockdowns and other things that we're doing during the pandemic?
Yeah, I think what happened was that Dr. Collins, who was the head of the NIH, and Dr. Fauci, who's the head of the NIAID, which is the Allergy Infectious Disease branch of the NIH, they wanted to create an illusion that there was a consensus of scientists in favor of lockdowns. This is back in October 2020 when we wrote this letter, this Great Barrington Declaration, calling for a very different policy than the lockdown-focused policy that we have followed. They wanted to have people think that it was misinformation, that there was anything other than lockdowns that scientists were supporting. And so when 3 epidemiologists, Harvard, Stanford, Oxford, and also Nobel Prize winners, tens of thousands of doctors and epidemiologists and scientists signed on, it was a major political problem for them. And so they responded by smearing us, by propagandizing against us, and basically engaging the press in a campaign to marginalize us.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Nicole, it's bad enough that they did that, but if you're going to smear and suppress all this information that the other side had, then at least you better be right. And it turns out he's not right, and he's still trying this. Biden and Fauci are still trying to suppress a great debate on what to do, because clearly what they're doing isn't working.
Well, Rachel, people, physicians, scientists, everyone should be trusted to have a free exchange of ideas openly and to be able to honestly debate them. But unfortunately, there is a huge lack of candor with this administration and our public health officials. And what they are deeming misinformation, it's not necessarily factually untrue. It may be factually unsettled. But the problem is it doesn't fall along mainstream media's talking points. And that's what they're labeling misinformation, which is wholly upsetting. And that is not what science is. Science, you have to be able to openly debate. It's about the free exchange of ideas. That is how we evolve as a country to become more scientific. With everything else that we have that we're successful is because people come together and we openly debate. But when you start having big tech tyrants and now the White House wanting to remove opinions because it doesn't fall in line with the White House's talking points, all that will do is breed more skepticism and confuse a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Battacharya, you're fortunate enough to have a great platform right now to talk about it. I know lots of doctors in small hospitals across America who've had their licenses threatened because they want to prescribe early treatments, ivermectin. I think this weaponization of medical licenses is something that we need to get to the bottom of. And of course, this relationship between Big Pharma and our government is reprehensible. I want to talk to you, Dr. Jay Battacharya, also about your op-ed. I read it today. I thought it was very, very good. Here's a quote from it. You say we cannot stop the spread of COVID, but we can end the pandemic. Quote, the end of the pandemic is primarily a social and political decision since we have no technology to eradicate the virus. We must learn to live with it. The fear-based lockdown policies of the past 2 years are no template for a healthy society.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been very clear that we have followed a failed policy for 2 years, and the failure comes from elevating one single infectious disease to the very top of the concern of everybody in society. A liberal society, a society that functions well, has many, many concerns that it addresses. There's trade-offs. When we're always thinking about the vulnerable, but at the same time, we're also trying to understand, how we can match all of the things that we want to go after. It involves normal functioning society while managing the pandemic, managing the bad infectious disease. That's what we need to return to. We can't have all of society functioning around the control and spread of one disease. We've seen where that leads, and it's not a good place.
No, it is not. Really quick, Dr. Saphire, the president who's trying to lead the charge against misinformation continues to say that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Is that true?
Well, we know, Rachel, at this point that vaccinated, boosted, and unvaccinated are all transmitting the virus. The goal at this point to vaccinate and boost the high-risk people to keep them out of the hospital and keep them alive. But it is time to be moving forward. Are we already seeing the consequences of some of these measures that were done, the lockdowns, children being out of school and wearing masks? The negative consequences of these bad moves by the public health officials in the White House will only be forthcoming for the next few years.
Absolutely, and the hundreds of thousands of people who died because they didn't get early treatments that were suppressed. I mean, it's just outrageous. Both of you, sound medical voices. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth.